Hi guys, it's Shani. So we are going to make a super simple journal. These are the journals that I like to make for my students. And it's just really fun. They're super easy to make, and it's not as intimidating. Some students will come to class and they have this big, gigantic art journal that they spent $20 on, and it's very intimidating. I mean, you hardly ever finish your first journal, in the first place, and it just becomes kind of a chore. So this is nice. There's 5 pages in there, so that makes it a 10-page little journal. The cover is made from watercolor paper, so you can make a really nice cover. It's sewn together really well, and it's just a nice little journal to have. So I'm going to show you how to make these. Like I said, this is what I provide my students with, and I think they like it a lot better. So the inside is made with just standard size cardstock, so just the kind that you get in a pack from like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I do tend to like the one from Michael's better. It's a little bit heavier, which is good, but the one from Hobby Lobby's fine. And I just tell my students to cover it with gesso before, and then I do like to tape the spine too with masking tape, and it's fine. I mean, if you're just going to do collage, you don't even have to gesso it. The pages are fine, and really you can use whatever kind of paper you want. You could even use line paper like from a composition book, and that would work fine too. So it's no biggie, whatever kind of paper you want, depending on your needs for this journal. Mine are going to be used for art journals, so that's it. But it's really nice, really easy, no cutting required, which I love. And all you need is a few basic supplies. And just for the cover, it's made out of watercolor paper, and I don't even cut that. It's just one of these pads. This is the Canton watercolor pad, but you can use the mixed media pad or the Bristol paper pad. You just want kind of a thicker card, or a thicker paper if you're going to do this. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's just 9 inches by 12 inches. And you get 30 sheets, so you can make a lot of journals. Okay, so I'm going to take one of those out for my cover. Alrighty. And then, as I said, I'm just working with standard cardstock. So I folded up 4 pages before. I like to keep these fairly small, so I usually just do 5 to 6 pages, and it works out perfectly. So these are the pages that I already folded up. You are going to need a bone folder, and then I'll kind of go through the materials as we use them. So let's get our cardstock out. I might have to fold another page because I never fold correctly, but that's okay. So you're just going to take it and you want to line up the edge here. So you want this edge to be lined up with this edge, okay? As best as you can. Just make it so it's really lined up. And I messed up like 4 or 5 pages. So those are going to be a journal for me. But I try not to give my students, things that that I try to have some integrity when I give them supplies. I don't just give them throwaway stuff. So I'll use that journal and it'll be fine. Okay, so once you have it lined up, and make sure that it is, you might want to check it a couple times, pull the paper back, push it up. Then I just hold it really taut, and I usually put a finger there too. Okay, you want to keep it in place, and I'm going to use my bone folder. I come right up in the middle, and then I smooth it out upwards first, okay? Alrighty. And then I just check it again, make sure that it's aligned, and I hold it very tight, and then I go kind of like this way at the bottom, and I smooth it out. And it just creates a really nice crease, and the pages are lined up. So it's nice and easy. So you'll just do that with all of your pages, and then this is the watercolor paper, so we're going to fold that up. And I just like to have heavier paper. If you didn't have heavy paper, you could absolutely do this with a piece of cardboard, and that would be fine, or craft paper or something like that. It really is not that big of a deal. You just want a heavier paper, whichever kind of paper that is. And I'm just doing the same thing. I'm lining up this edge against this edge. I'm getting it as close as I can. The bottom tends to be a problem area for me. Okay. just get it nice in line, and we're going to put our fingers there. We'll do a dent in the middle, and we're going to bring it up, because the up part is usually the part that doesn't give me any trouble. Now I'm going to check this again. Looks good. Then I'm going to go this way. Okay, and then I'm going to just reinforce that crease. And don't kill yourself. I mean, it does not have to be perfect. No one's going to notice. You're going to fill it with lots of media, and it's going to be fine. So don't kill yourself for it. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and take our pages, and we're going to stack them up together. Okay? So this is the cardstock first. So these are inside pages. And you see, this is one that I'm going to use. It has a little piece of something on the cardstock. It just got dirty. So this will be my journal. And the other ones are fine. They're really pretty with pretty white, clean paper, which is not easy for me. But it's good. So imagine you could do this in scrapbooking paper. It's very, very easy. Okay, so you're just going to stack those up. And you know, if you wanted to, you could trim off the edges, but I'm not even going to bother. It's going to be fine. The paper is always going to stick out if you make a signature, so I think just accept it. I think things are supposed to look homemade. You know, we try to make them perfect, and they're not. And if that's your thing and you like to make things perfectly perfect, then just trim it off and keep going. But I'm not going to bother. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we'll take this one. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bad paper on the top so that I know that that's kind of the bad, not the bad journal, but not really. Because it's going to get covered up with paint and paper anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But my art journaling classes are really, really fun. There's lots of fun techniques, and you kind of get to try like all the different things that you can do in art journaling. So it's pretty fun. So then I just take the pages. They're stacked together. You want to make sure that they're nice and straight. Okay. And I'm just going to turn them over. Oops. And I really like the cardstock that you can get from Walmart. It's a really nice, smooth, really thick cardstock. And that's the cardstock that we use when we make our journals for my journaling class. So, okay, so I just want to make sure everything's lined up, and then I just get my binder clips, which it's not. I'm going to turn it the other way here. It's funny how just turning things around can make it easier. Isn't that funny? But it's harder to do this kind of thing on camera, because normally I can put my face to the wind and, you know, really get it so it's nice and straight. But I'm not going to kill myself over it. Okay? So we're going to go here. We'll put our binder clip here. And you do want to use binder clips, or you can use paper clips. You just want something so that it's not going to move around on you. That is pretty darn important. So I do recommend that you do that. And I'm going to go ahead and take the paper clips off of this one and the clips. And I just use the jumbo paper clips that you get at the office supply store. They're like $2 or something for a whole bunch of them. So they work just as well as these. And these you can get at the dollar store. Okay? Just make sure that everything's in there very, very well. If you need to adjust, then adjust, but no big deal. We're not going to get all crazy about it. Okay, just like that. See that this needs to be scooted just a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to go in. Just like that. Oops. Stick that there. And I'm kind of staying away from the spine because I'm going to sew on that. Just like that. Okay? Alright. So that looks pretty darn good to me. Okay? And then you're going to need a ruler and a pencil. And we're going to make our marks. Now, I'm just going to do just a basic stitch with 3 holes. That's it. Okay? Nothing. Some people call it a temporary stitch. It works fine. These journals will last forever. I don't want you to worry about it. And I'm going to show you how to sew it. So it'll be really easy. Okay? So we're just going to line up. And I'm working with the cardstock, my signature only. Okay, I'm not worried about the cover. That's fine. There's a little bit of an overlap, which is great. And your cover should be a little bigger than your pages. Okay, so I'm going to come over a little bit. This is the spine of my book. Try to get the ruler as straight as I can. Okay, and I'm going to go in at 4.5. Okay, that's going to be kind of my middle line. Okay, and then I'm going to go up to 1.5 here. So 1.5. I have 4.5, and then I'm going to go down to 7.5. Okay, and those are the way that I make my marks. Okay, works for me. I like it because it's not too close to the edge, and then and it's not too far in the middle. It's going to be bound very well. Okay, so 1.5, 4.5, and 7. Okay, and 7.5, I think, and 7.5. Okay, 1.5, 4.5, 7.5. Okay. Alright. Now this is wax linen thread. You can get it at Hobby Lobby or you can order it online. I will have a link to Amazon if you want to order it online. But it's not that difficult to find now. It was before, but it is. And normally, if you go to the craft store, it's in the jewelry making section. Because I don't think they have a book binding section. At least mine, Michael's in Hobby Lobby, so it's in the jewelry section with all the strings and twines and that kind of thing. So it's really great because it makes a really good knot. You can pull it really, really taut, and it's just really good to use in your journals. If you did not have this, you could use thread, and that would be fine. But I would kind of use a thicker kind of yarn or something like that. Something that won't pull apart or fall apart and your knot's really going to stick. I would probably use dental floss before I use thread. I do use thread like on little mini books that I make, but for this kind of projects, I do recommend that you use wax linen thread, or that you use like the thick embroidery thread will work too in a pinch. You just kind of have to be careful with that, okay? So how do you measure this, right? Because you don't want to just have a whole bunch of extra thread left. So what I like to do, and I always have extra, it's just going to happen, is I usually do one, so I go down like this, the length of the book, right? And then I do it again, so like that. So it's like 2 lengths, if that makes sense, of the width or the length of the book. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to trim that off. Okay, so I have a piece about this long. Let me tell you how long it is. So it's 12.5 inches. Okay, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's about 18 inches long, but you could probably do 16 and you'd be fine. Okay, so 18 inches long. That's what you need. And you see I have a ton left and I've made 6 journals, so it's very easy. So now let's put our holes in, okay? Now when you do your holes, I actually, because what will happen if I just poke it like this, it will not get in the cover in the right place and it won't look very pretty. So I actually want it in this fold, okay, of my spine. So what you do if you want it that way is you take your pokey tool. This is a pokey tool that I got in a kit from Michael's. I will put a link if you need to find one. And Amazon does have pokey tools too. Now they market them for clay, but it's the exact same thing as this one. But I will put a link to the one on Amazon that is actually designed for paper, but you could absolutely use the one that was designed for clay. You just need a sharp edge. So if you don't have a pokey tool, you can just use a thick needle, and that will work too. I mean, it's going to take a little bit to get in there. Another thing that you can use too is a push pin, because it's very sharp. It's meant to go into the wall, so it has a really nice sharp point, like a pokey tool. Okay, so, all right, there we go. Okay, so we're going to go in, and I pull the pages up a little bit. You see, let me see if I can bring you guys in a bit. This is going to be a little strange, okay? So this is a mark here. Actually, maybe I'll do this one. I think you can see it a little better. So there's a mark there. I'm going to bring the page up like that. You won't be able to see it. And then I hold my pokey tool kind of at a 40-degree angle, okay? Not like this straight, because that's not going to get the spine of my book. So you want to hold it at kind of a 40-degree angle, okay? And you're just going to press it through. Okay? And sometimes I'll even check, but you see that it's right in the middle of my spine. Okay? Alrighty, let's do it again. Okay, so this one here, same thing. You really want to fold it back, and when you're going into the hole, these are just your guide. So if it's not perfectly like in the fold of the paper, then make sure that your pokey tool does go in the fold of paper. Okay, so bring it up, just like that, and you pull it through. And that one was even better. See how that's right on the spine? Okay, let's do the same thing. And I kept like, I was like, well, why are my holes like in funny places? And I don't mind, because I'll collage over it or whatever, or tape over it. It's not that big of a deal. But I was like, well, why can't I figure out how to do this hole? And it's because you need to fold the book, okay, while you put the holes in there. Okay, ready, same thing. And you can go slow too, so you can guide it and see it poking through, okay? So don't feel as if you have to just pop through like I'm doing, okay? Just like that. Alrighty, so that's the way it looks. We have 3 holes, okay? Alrighty, so now I'm going to grab my thread, and I'm going to grab a needle, okay? The needles, I just use big needles. You can get tapestry needles if you want. The only difference between a tapestry needle and a regular needle is just that the tapestry needle is dull, so you can't really poke yourself on it. I mean, I still would not want to step on this, but it's definitely not as pokey as this standard, like, little needle thing, okay? And you just want to get one that has a really nice eye, and it's a big one, okay? So it does. So you can put the thread in really, really easy. And with the yarn needles, it's even better, okay? And these would be in the yarning section, okay, with like crochet thread and all that other stuff. And these you can just get in the sewing section. So it's your preference. I mean, they're about the same price, so it doesn't really make a difference. And my students, I do give them the yarning needles, just because, you know, you have old eyes, or I have old eyes, you know, so it's hard for me to somehow get it in the eye. So you're just going to stick it in there. And this thread is really easy to thread through, so I like that part too. And you're just going to leave a tail, maybe about 3 or 4 inches, okay? Just like that. Not too much. That's probably too much, because you still need something to go in and out of your book, okay? So I'm going to go right in this center hole, okay? Just like that. And we're going to make like an 8, okay? So it goes in, up, then we're going to go down, we're going to go in that hole, up through here, and then back through, okay? So it's like an 8, okay? Then you're going to pull this through, but you want a tail, okay? So that's a good tail there, okay? Then we're going to work on the outside of our book. So we're going to go, you can go up or down, it doesn't make a difference, but I'm going to go up, okay? And you just want to make sure that it's through all your pages, so you want the hole not so tiny that you can't get through, right? And you just have to wiggle it sometimes through the pages, just like that. So we have that, and we have that. And now I'm going to take these, and I'm going to pull them really tight. Okay. And I always pull a little bit to give myself some extra room. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to go through the center hole. Okay, just like that. Again, and you do need, you know, it's not an easy job. I'll put it that way. Just gonna, and you're gonna pull it nice and tight. You want that thread tight, okay? Then we're gonna go into our hole here, which has kind of disappeared on me. somewhere though. There we go. Okay. We're going to pull that through, just like that. Okay. Right, and I'm going to bring my needle up just a little bit. Okay. And this is pretty short for me. Normally mine are longer, but we're still going to do this. Okay. So then we're going to go out. Now, you're going to go out on one side of the hole. Okay, and this is important for the middle hole, because what will happen, especially if you're using regular thread, is that if you go, I'll show you for the next step, I'll explain it better. So I'm going to go in on this left side. Okay, so there's the hole. I'm going to go in on the left side. Okay, so you see I'm coming out on the left side, left on this side, right on this side. Okay, just like that. Alrighty. Oops, and I think that I'm about to show you what I did here. There we go. Oops. Okay, just like that. Okay. Alright. Now, I'm on the right side, right? So I am going to, if you look through here, I don't know if my poor little camera will let you see, but if you look through here, you see that there's the threads here. Everything's on the right side, right? So I'm going to go to the left side, and I'm going to kind of go over these threads, okay? That's very important, okay? Because you want one on this side and one on the other side. Does that make sense? So it makes like a X sort of, or a cross, okay? Just like that. So I have one on this side, one on that side. So I went in on the left, came out on the right, and then I went in on the right and out on the left. Okay, just like that. And then we're just going to tie them. Okay, so we'll take it and we will give them a nice tie. And make sure you tie them nice and tight. Normally I pull, and see I should have pulled here because it's going to have a little bit of a thing. But that's okay. We're going to actually take that out. And you know, before you tie it, you just want to make sure that you pull on everything to make sure that it's nice and secure. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pull on everything because I don't want that to be like that. Okay, I don't want it to have that much give. Okay, just like that. And let's make sure that it's fine on the outside. Okay, so we're good. And we're going to go in and give it a tie. So there's 1, 2, and just a standard knot. So you'll go this way, you'll make an X, take one of the ends and go through and tie it. And I tie it 3 times, nice and tight. Okay? And then the last step that we need to do, don't cut off your tails yet, is you're going to use some super glue, tacky glue, some type of glue, because you want to reinforce that knot so it doesn't come apart. Even though it probably wouldn't, it's always good to reinforce it. So these are little super glue bottles that I get from the dollar store. They do have it on Amazon, so I will put a link. And I like using them. They're super simple. I use them in jewelry making and in book making, and it just makes your life a lot easier. Okay? You just take it and it dries really fast, and I just top the knot. Okay? I'm sure just to get it on the knot and not anywhere else, and you just let it dry. Okay? Just like that. Alrighty? And then all you do is you trim off the edges, and you have a nice little secure knot that is not going to come out. And I'll show you. So this is one that I've made, and we're just going to trim it. Okay? So you'll just get really up close to that knot and give it a trim. There's one. There's the other. And just make sure you don't cut apart the knot. That would not be cute. I've done that before. Not good. You have to redo it all. Then these, they're not going to be flat at first, okay? So what you'll want to do is put them over a heavy book overnight, okay? But they're really nice, they're fun, they work really well, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So it's really fun, and you can decorate the front and the back, and it's really a nice little journal. And I love it, so it's great. Like I said, I wouldn't do more than 5 or 6 pages though. If you did, you would kind of have to like square your spine instead of just folding it over. But I'm going to put these under a heavy book so they'll be nice and flat, and they'll be ready to use by my students. Okay, so you got a mini lesson in bookbinding. Hopefully I explained it well, and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Please share this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me if you are going to make one of these journals. I'd love to hear it. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.